Hi everybody! Welcome back to another episode of Book a Lunch Day. So today I'm actually trying something new. I haven't tried this recipe before. It's actually a it's called mashed potato fries on the recipe, but I kind of modify it because it's really hard to get the shape right. So I'm just going to make a tater tot because it's easier to make random shape than spiral. That's what the recipe made, and it requires frying. I don't like to fry stuff in my kitchen, so I'm not actually very good at frying stuff. So usually I use pan fried. Which is actually healthier it requires less oil, so it's somewhat healthier than just frying. And it's easier to control the temperature and to control the shape of stuff. This is a really good recipe. I like it because, and I actually done something like this before, but I like that it has more flavor in. I like the flavors that you add to the potatoes. And my husband also bought a bunch of potatoes for out of no reason, and I have a lot of potatoes at home, so I like to use up all of them. I'm going to turn on the fire over here. Just going to turn it very small and just kind of let it fry while we are working on my my mashed potatoes. So I made some mashed potatoes this morning. So here's a potato. It doesn't have any seasoning in it, okay? So just regular potato. A way that you want to make your mashed potato is that you want to make sure you put in your potato when the water is cold. If you add in your water when it's hot, the potato will fall apart and that's not going to be fun. It's going to be difficult for you. So a very easy way is cut a potato in smaller pieces, equal sizes. Okay, you want them to cook at the same rate, and then add it in cold water and boil it that way. Then your potato it's going to hold its shape. And then it will be easier when you mash them. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is just add seasoning. You can do whatever seasoning that you want. It doesn't have to be like the seasoning I'm using, but I'm adding a lot of Parmesan cheese. And it will be easier if your potato is hot or warm when you're doing this. I made a batch already. A small batch already when my potato is hot, because I don't think you guys want to see just a boiled pot of water for like 20 minutes. A little bit of black pepper. I also add in some French fry seasoning. This is optional. This is just so I have more flavor to my potato. And then some egg. This is just whole egg. Like I said, I use some of it for my first batch, which is cooking right now. And we are going to be doing this in a little bit. I don't want it to burn. Alright, and then very importantly, our cornstarch. You can use any starch you want, potato starch. This is what's going to hold the potato in shape. Okay, so if you don't add enough of it, it's going to fall apart. And then you just kind of mix it in together. Again, it's going to be easier if your potato it's warm. It's going to help absorb all that flavor. But this batch of potato is kind of it's still warm a little bit, but not super duper hot. So I'm just going to use a little bit of energy. And it's up to you if you want to add in a more crunchy feeling, so you can make a creamier version of it, creamier mashed potato, that works too. Or if you like a little chunk in there, that's fine too. I still have like half bag of potatoes that I need to use up. I don't know why. I use potatoes, but he bought like a big bag and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. So maybe next week I will do something different with the potato, because it's just a lot of potato. And then you want to grab a plastic bag, a clean zip up bag, and then put it in. Put it in. I'm being greedy. I want to put everything in I want. And push to the side of the bag. Okay. And if you have like the baking one, you can also use that. Grab a pair of scissors and chop off the end. That's going to give you more control when you're shaping your tater tot. And I'm not very good at this, I have to admit. I almost never care about what my food look like as long as they're cooked. And they are a little bit burned because I wasn't paying attention to them. I'm using a smaller pot for this because I don't want to work in large batches, especially when I'm not very good at this. So that's one thing. No, I'm learning as well. Just a little bit more oil. And then we can squeeze it in. You can do whatever shape that you want. The good thing about this is that it's going to be somewhat flat, so it will be easy for it to cook through and easier for you to move around. You can do whatever shape you want. This is going to be an ugly shape. I am going to do a circular. But if you do it on the top, what you want to do is you do want to push it down a little bit so it's nice and flat. What I like to do when I'm frying stuff, I like to just add a little oil at a time. I don't know, I'm not very good at frying stuff for some reason. It's like, that's why I like to work in small batches, so I can it's easier for me to control the stuff. So I'm working in 4, and if you're like me, you're not very good at this. You also want to do it in small shape. You don't want to fry something really big to begin with. And I'm going to turn it. It's going to take a little bit of time. You don't want to touch it. I learned my mistake. You don't want to touch it too soon, otherwise it's going to fall apart when you flip them. So another reason why I like to work in small batches, because they give me more time to make sure everything is there. It's not. I'm not like worrying about too much stuff, and you know that's why it takes some time to make sure everything is going correctly. The stove is really hard to control its temperature. Okay, and then I'm going to flip the first one. No, the first one. Oh, it's burned a little bit. It's okay. I will eat that one. Alright. It's fun when you're trying something new. Ooh. So I will push the 2 on top and then just add in a teeny bit of oil for my next 2. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. Push down a little bit, so it will be easier if it's flat and it will be crispier. That's something that I learned. And then I'm going to flip this one back again. Alright. Actually going to move forward a little bit so you can see. Alright. Just want to make sure it's golden brown on both sides. Once it's holding its shape, it's going to be a lot easier. And I mean, as long as your mashed potato tastes really good, it's really just adding a crunchy layer to the exterior of the potato, which I love. I'm going to use my spatula. Alright. Oh, this one is pretty. Oh. That one is pretty too. So as long as both sides is holding its shape, then you can remove it from the heat. And then we will make two more. Adding a little bit of oil. And then let's do it again. Small flame, put it in. The recipe calls for a spiral shape, so I'm trying really hard to follow it, but again, it's tater tot, so, and I'm eating it by myself, so who cares what the shape is, right? Alright. Alright. So then once you're working in smaller batches, it's actually quite fast. So we'll just quickly finish up the batch that we have here. Squeeze down the potatoes, the mashed potato in the bag. Let's try one more. Oh, it's gonna be a little bit too big. Add a little bit of oil. Oh, that one is pretty too. I used to do this when we buy like KFC or store-bought mashed potatoes. You know, they always come in big jog and sometimes we don't finish, or after Thanksgiving if you have a lot of mashed potatoes leftovers, that's also another it's also a very good way for you to use up all the mashed potatoes at home when you made too much. I'm going to make a small one. I'm kind of getting a hang of it. As long as you don't add too much. I kind of need to let it set in shape first before I add, before I kind of touch it, and that's a difficult part. And don't use too big of a flame for it, otherwise it will burn. Like some of the ones I did before. Ooh, that one looks really pretty. Alright, let it go in there. Difficult angle to cook at. So it's golden brown and then you flip it. Ooh, nice. It's pretty. This one is not ready yet. Or is it? It is ready. Alright. So I'm just going to keep on. Oh, actually let's do like one more. And then we can get to the best part, which is the tasting part. Adding a little bit of oil. And then squeeze. Alright, last one. This one is kind of ugly, but it's okay. As long as it's both sides that's golden brown, then we can put them aside. And last one, I can probably squeeze out one more. This one is going to be an ugly one, but it's fine. Alright. Alright, so let's let it cook, and let me show you the ones I already made. There we go. Here are the ones that I've already made. It goes really well with some potato ketchup. And for my potato ketchup. Alright, and let me show you the ones I already made. So it's, let's see. So it's crunchy on the outside, and then it's like mushy on the inside, which is, sounds really good. And I know it's not really like a regular tater tot, but honestly this is the best that I can come up with, especially when I'm not actually frying stuff. feel like this is a really weird episode of Cookbook Lunch Day because this is not actually something that I'm good at, and I feel bad that I'm showing you guys this, but it's actually really fun. So give it a try, and if you have better idea on frying stuff, let me know because I could use some pointers as well. Again, cooking is not just you know, you want to push yourself, and I'm always pushing myself, especially doing something that I'm not very good at. But the fun thing about cooking is that as long as you are trying, and as long as you are trying out different recipes, you will still have something edible at the end, even though if it's something that you're not good at. This is still edible. So, alright. I'm sorry it's a weird episode, but again, I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!